it came out actually, like a month maybe.
So it's being this
something like
special
that.
guest secret lair. I'm not really sure
Yeah,
which
yeah,
set
like
it came from.
it's also a problem. Like it was revealed at one moment, and then when it came
Yeah,
out.
and now we have also
Ooh.
2 decks that we haven't seen today yet.
That's true. Well, we have seen something a little close to at least Rograkh and Tevesh thought,
Right.
because we saw the Volhar deck.
Yeah.
And that was a combo, and here we have basically a combo deck as well, although in different colors.
Yep.
And on the other side, we see a great mid-range deck,
Phlage.
Phlage. It is fantastic. Now, yeah, okay, Lotus Bloom being suspended.
Cool, interesting.
That is
it's
a
like-
nice brutal start. So yeah, there is some clock. Okay, now
Is it? Like
Starfire.
in 40 turns I'm gonna come out?
It probably is.
Pretty interesting way to set
Yeah.
up.
Now
this,
Starfire just being played. Now Urza Saga. There is the possibility
both decks possibly played Blood Moon, right?
to
We
actually see the
interaction.
new interaction.
Right, that would be cool.
Which I do believe that it might very easily happen, that we would have to just go to our players and tell them, hey, we know it's just new thing, or the saga stays alive.
Yeah, I hope that at least one of the players know about the new rules change.
Yeah. But it can easily happen that you just don't remember or you just forget about it.
Right, on the other hand, since both decks play red, none of the players are really incentivized to play the Blood Moon as the be-all win
True.
condition, because
True.
both decks can continue to play even if it's on the board.
Absolutely. Now there has been the Shamblegast put into graveyard, which is just the one that makes a treasure, which is nice to have on.
Survey from the...
Yeah, it was from
I was
the
like
survey.
thinking
Yeah.
how it went.
It was there via the surveillance.
Yeah.
Now the Shamblegast is a nice thing, but it doesn't really do too much, honestly.
No, it's only a fodder for the sacrifice ritual, sacrifice.
Yes, exactly.
A
Now
Witchclaw
here is the
Talisman.
Witchclaw Talisman.
Yes.
This card is nasty because it just finds the combo piece you need.
And if Phlage knows, or at least expects what he is about to experience, he might be
Yeah.
pretty worried, considering
Absolutely.
how much interaction he might
Ooh,
have.
okay, there has been just land pass, even no Phlage being played, which means there is probably something.
I hope so.
Well, or
because
just Saga token?
I do not wish to our game to end so quickly.
Yeah.
Because, there is...
It must be very tough for the Phlage player to deal with all this.
Yes. As far as we haven't seen any Rograkh or Tevesh being played,
Right?
I think, but it makes sense because Rograkh usually comes into play only the turn that you really
Yeah.
plan on
Honestly,
abusing it.
it's your commander in a sense that it's storm one and a creature to be sacrificed.
And also, previous rounds we saw all the dual lands. Look at those basics.
Absolutely, they
Both
are
players
Blood
are
Moon
pre-bound
proof.
for Blood Moon.
Blood
Right.
Moon proof or Harbinger proofed gameplay. Yeah, even with the saga and the new rules, you're actually more than Blood Moon proofed.
Yeah.
Now, to be perfectly honest, we are probably going to see some very interesting combo plays on the side of Rograkh.
This turn, this might be just a setup.
Yeah,
turn.
absolutely. There will be a setup this
He's
turn
gonna
or
wait for
this
the
rotation.
Lotus. to
Absolutely, you need
go
the
off.
mana.
Right. Or not, because the turn you activate Witchclaw
Yeah.
Talisman is usually the turn that you plan on winning.
I
right?
think it was actually done in the upkeep of the opponent or maybe the end step.
No. You need to activate it only during your turn.
That's true. So the end step probably is
Yeah.
like a reaction to the
this
activation of
yes.
Urza Saga. And yeah, so Michal just
Like,
made
hello.
a token,
And
like a
gave
construct,
the opponent the Witchclaw Talisman.
which
boosts the construct.
it's an artifact. It's true.
Your opponent, your construct is too little. I'm just donating some artifacts to you.
True.
to use.
Now there could be a case where, or like an option where Michael would just, use his saga to find something that can interact with the combo.
Right, but considering rank...
That's
next turn. pact of the final fortune.
Final fortune.
You gain
That's
next turn
the
and
extra
on the-
instant extra turn,
Yeah.
and you lose at the end of it.
Exactly. So your opponent tapped out, so you know the coast is clear, and you can do the second turn, which you get the extra mana from Lotus
Exactly.
Bloom.
So this
And
is just the end.
we are probably going to see some comboing.
Well,
going
there are
off.
two options. Well, one of the players is going to lose,
Yes.
and like either Dunk wins this game in this turn,
Yep.
or they lose at the end of this turn.
I don't see him
Yeah,
losing because
yeah.
if he plays the card and you have an opponent that A tapped out and B doesn't have pretty much any zero mana
There might be
interaction.
a solitude, but what does it do? Nothing in this case.
Yeah, because even in response to some plays, most of the rituals and tutors sacrifice the creature
Yeah,
or
the
cast because
culling
it can,
the weak is an instant.
It can be responded to.
Yeah, we will probably see some storm. Yeah, there is the delirium count or threshold count potentially. That could be
Yeah.
for the Cabal ritual.
Not threshold quite, but
Yeah, it's not yet
and
threshold.
I don't think we've seen any cards from Dunk's hand, so we don't know what we are in store for.
But they found something. They were looking for a card via the Witch Claw, which means they.
I might
That might have
think
been the Final Fortune.
Yeah, because your opponent tapped out. Okay, I search Final Fortune
be,
because
could be.
my hand combined with the mana I get from the Lotus
Yeah.
can be winning.
I understand, but
Oh,
in that case,
I think I saw a Cabal Ritual
Yeah.
and Peer Through the Abyss.
Peer
which is
through the abyss.
Which
That
is
is
a card that you usually see in CDH and not dual commander because
it
you
is
have only
doable.
20 card. Yeah, if you get the mana for it.
okay.
and
Demonic
Demonic
Tutor.
Tutor,
Yeah, I think that could find, for example, like the Culling the Weak.
No, Underworld Breach would be my
It could
guess,
be, but
because
if you have
it
the
allows
peer-
you to yes.
I
but
understand. I
because-
understand
because,
your idea.
The breach line can potentially win the game outright, and it is deterministic.
True.
With peer, you can still like
Yeah,
be
you can just
entangled.
not draw the cards you
Yeah,
need. You're absolutely right.
Yeah. So I guess it's something like you have Moxville or Breach
Yeah.
to just abuse your graveyard. Because I already saw the Cabal Ritual in
That's
in the
true.
hand.
Although right
So I
now
think-
it just gives you 3 mana for 2, which is not the thing you need.
No,
But
with Tutor, with sacrificing Lotus Bloom, we are already there, and I think it's very close.
that's
It
true.
would
1,
be-
2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Still need one more.
Yeah, there will be definitely some.
Probably,
cards
yeah,
before.
probably.
And I am like now imagining, because in the bottom of the card, I think there's a stone count.
Yeah, there is the storm count, but it's nicely hidden behind our name.
Yeah, behind my name.
Yeah,
I am
behind your
hungry.
name, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm saying that
we know there is
storm
storm.
Yeah.
So if I remember correctly, it should be a storm 1.
Yeah.
Right now we have storm 3.
We won't be lazy and count it ourselves. There was only there was the Lotus Bloom.
Lotus
because
Bloom-
came from the suspend
Yes.
and the Demonic Tutor.
Lotus Bloom and Demonic Tutor.
And
That's
there is probably a first spell getting cast. We both know that it is not going to end here.
Yeah.
There will be lots and more spells.
Yeah,
getting cast.
absolutely. Like, the worst thing right now has to be imagining what is Michael going through, because the Thalia player, because
pretty-
it's just like
Pretty depressive for
just staying there. Like, I can't really change anything about this game. If
Right.
you have it, you have it. If you don't, I win.
I think there was some confirmation that he has no introduction
Could
by
be, yeah.
tapping out for the Urza Saga. Maybe he doesn't know the deck, the Rograkh.
Might be.
and
So it's like asking what does it do and what is the idea.
especially
here.
with the Wishclaw Talisman,
Yeah, there is the Culling the Weak.
right? And there is the threshold.
Yeah, 4 black mana. There is the threshold. Now the peer can probably start.
Yeah.
Yeah, 4 mana, 1 mana still open, 3 mana from the Lotus Bloom.
Yeah, and
There is the Cabal Ritual, which
Cabal Ritual.
adds 3 more mana basically.
And in this case, I really do believe that we are going to see the peer coming out and getting something done.
Yes, that's it. Peer into the abyss.
And if there is the chest supplier plus Underworld Breach, the game is over right
Yeah,
there.
absolutely. Like
Which
right,
is a pretty huge chance.
right now, it's basically like lose. What was it like? 9
Half.
life,
Which
so
was
9
8, exactly.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
think
8
it's
life,
16.
and draw like 40 cards,
Right.
which is just fabulous.
Yeah, and even if the breach itself it's not there, or like both of the cards, both Stitcher and breach, because if there is only breach, there is a demonic tutor. There are all cards that are necessary
Yeah.
for going for the win, I believe. But we still can. We still have some chance that this doesn't work. And
Absolutely, it can break.
that
It can 100%
killing
break. But right now there is the
this
count.
situation.
There is the countdown of the cards.
Uh,
Strap
so-
yourselves in. This is gonna take a while.
Well, so early in the game, you can just count the rest of the cards that are
That's
outside,
true.
and
then you know what is the
subtract
half.
from the
Yeah,
deck,
yeah.
which is usually how it's done in this.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 cards.
plus hand.
Plus hand, plus 2 commanders.
Yes.
And then you just divide it by 2.
Round it up,
And then run it up, yeah.
and most likely we see something like some Adder ritual and then breach, or even like for an insurance discard spell first. But I don't think it's necessary. I don't think Phlage can
I
do
don't really
anything.
see a way for Phlage to interact in this case. Like, there might be, a thing that would be fun would be like the Flare of Denial, like the one that says your life total
Right.
can't change, but it can't be played
Angel's
because
Grace. You mean.
or Angel's Grace, yeah.
Oh
but
no, the white.
the White Flare,
Yeah.
yeah. Oh, sorry, the Flare of Fortitude, maybe it's
Right,
called.
but you need white
yes,
non-token creature for
that's
it.
exactly the problem. So even if so that's the
Rite of Flame.
Rite of Flames. Yes,
The card I usually misplay because I think it's an instant and it
it is a sorcery. Yeah,
It's messing me up so hard.
yeah.
Uh,
It is interesting that actually even a card that for 1 mana gives you 2
Yeah.
is played in this sort of deck because
Compared
you
to the Dark Ritual.
yeah,
which
and
is
compared to the fact that it is
almost
much
strictly
better
better
in
card.
more copies, right?
Yep.
It is
Yeah.
designed to be better in more copies.
because you have the one card per deck singleton rule, so you need as much of these similar cards as possible.
Absolutely,
if you play
absolutely.
This kind of linear deck.
Yeah, yeah. Like I do believe that they also play like Disparate Ritual, Piratic Ritual, and other stuff
Yeah,
like this
right,
because
definitely.
you just need to get the mana to play the big payoff spell, ramp up the storm. Yawgmoth's Will is the thing that we will
As
see,
an ultimate
and that
insurance.
is probably going to be it. Honestly, like I don't see a way
Definitely.
to lose from
is
this position.
unless there is not Tendrils of Agony in the
Yeah,
deck,
yeah.
which I definitely think it is. This is 100% death because there is.
Yeah, I think the storm would be enough, like big enough even for Grape Shot.
Oh,
It,
yeah.
it will be
Yeah,
because
yeah,
there is
sure.
so many cards, and there is actually the demonic tutor in the
You
graveyard.
have like 40 something cards in hand. There
Yeah.
is like 6 to 8 cards as I see you can play from your
Yeah.
graveyard, and then
Now there is the Rograkh, Calling the Weak.
Right.
There's just so much mana being generated.
just going through the
Yeah.
motions because we like everyone here knows
Yeah, we
that
all want to see how it goes and how it works. It
Yeah.
is a bit nasty, let's be honest. Like,
Right.
especially from the side of Michael, because right now he's been sitting there for like
and he goes to
a
tendrils.
little more than 5 minutes.
Yep, right.
And here's the Tendrils of Agony.
Sealing the deal.
Yeah,
And we
which
have
looks
the
like
turn one.
tendrils for,
Exactly
I
10.
believe. No, it looks
No?
like 12.
Oh,
So-
sorry. Yeah,
so-
this
so
was the
26.
dice. Yeah, okay.
But it could have been much, much more.
Wow, that was really nice.
Yeah.
Considering that Dung, like, knowing that your opponent is probably gonna activate the Urza
Yeah,
Saga. And
it was
tap
a good
himself
call.
out.
It was a good call. I liked
So
it.
he just passed the turn.
Yeah.
Not saying anything. And once the opponent tapped out,
Yeah.
okay, I go for it.
Absolutely.
I search most likely for the final fortune,
Yeah.
get another turn, and
It
win
was
the game.
it was fabulous. And
Yeah.
to be honest, I know it is a bit nasty to say, but Michael did not resolve any spell this turn.
Well, he did. The Starfire in the face.
Starfire in face. Sorry, I forgot.
It's
Starfire
like,
in face.
I'm going to die to
Yeah,
free.
I just have to do it.
I might as well.
Now
play
here we
Starfire.
have Dung Nguyen as our player piloting Rograkh. Actually,
Yeah.
he was also piloting Phlage, so he
Yeah.
knows it from both sides.
I believe it's kind of confusing seeing him with Phlage, but
Yeah.
he has not on Phlage right now.
Yeah, right. And we can see a very nice win rate. 67%, 17 wins, 6 losses, and 5 draws. And the current season position is second. That's very nice.
He attended every single Najáda DC League tournament.
Right.
So he's
really farming it quite
attending.
nicely.
Yeah. Well,
Evidently quite well.
and him getting the first place with Phlage means that he knows very well both coins of this matchup.
Right.
He knows what he's up against and how
Yeah,
to play.
what can you
against that.
expect?
Exactly.
Like, I think that the main idea here that he should try to go for it fast.
Definitely.
Like, there are cards like Sanctifier and Vec, which will just destroy him.
This is like one of the only cards that
Yeah.
Phlage can use.
I think Phlage, like just to win, sort of. I think you would have to I wouldn't say super aggressively, but kind of aggressively you want to try to mulligan into it.
Yeah,
if you play the card. of
with
course.
the Sanctifier in play, all you can do is manual storm without your graveyard, which is very tough to do.
And manual storm sounds tough.
Without your graveyard.
Yeah, without
breach, without will, and without
breachless breach.
every card you cast is one and done, kind of deal.
Yeah, right now I hope we will see more than just a spell from Michael.
Well,
so
if he has the Sanctifier,
I
that
saw
might be.
I saw the Esper Sentinel in the hand, which is
Swords
quite
to potion.
nice. Swords don't do much here.
Not at all.
Just to remind you, it is 1-0 for Dunk, and he is probably going to take a look at his hand and consider. Well, we need first the decision on the side of Michael to follow the rules precisely.
Yeah,
And-
Dunk is not really on showing us the
Yeah,
hand,
we
which
don't
I
really
would
see
be really
much.
interested in. Because
Okay, so Michael chose not to keep it. Maybe the hand
Because
was just not
too
good enough.
little interaction or correct kind of interaction. The single Esper Sentinel won't cut
Yeah.
it because if the game ends in like 4 turns, you got at most like 3.
Yeah, and the
spells to
cards
cast.
don't do much.
It draws you some extra cards. Dunk exactly while comboing off doesn't pay the tax much, but if those cards are not useful in the matchup, then it is like the card is useless itself. And we see Michael mulliganing again.
It looks like a mulligan to 5. Could be.
For the
It
specific
could
answers.
just be an aggressive
needs
mulligan
because-
into the Sanctifier and Vec.
Definitely, and not only that.
There are more options, of course, but this is the best
Dread
one.
Magistrate.
Yeah, Dreaded Magistrate can help a lot because it shuts off the graveyard play, it shuts off the commander being played.
Yeah.
It does help. There are some strong hate pieces, 100%.
Okay, and Dunk is on 6.
Yes. No, I believe that Dunk did not mulligan.
At all?
At
Okay,
all.
right.
I think Dunk just kept his hand of 7.
Oh my, Dunk is on the draw, and on the draw you can be more lenient
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
your mulligans, and even because you are up to 1-0, you are leading first game, meaning on Dunk's place you definitely could have mulligan and should have mulligan, even if your hand is not anything close to perfect.
Yeah,
so that
maybe it was just fire.
right.
Just straight up fire.
Exactly. That all those things point towards the fact that Dunk's hand is most likely.
Or was it
incredible.
just a mulligan to 6 and we might have missed? Yeah, I think we just.
Michael mulligan twice. I know that. for
Okay,
sure.
sure. So maybe it was just 2
And
cards.
he's on 6, I believe. Yeah. And mulligan way before.
All right, so there is the.
Freebooter.
Looks like it.
And when dies gives you treasure.
Yeah,
Let's try
and
one.
there is the Mishra's Bubble.
Another card to fill up your graveyard.
Sure.
for
Okay, there is the
escaping
Eagles.
And searching your library.
So yeah,
going
just
through
a
your
card
deck.
just to get planes.
And again, we didn't see Rograkh turn 1 because you.
How unfortunate, right?
understand.
You're playing 0-mana commander and you don't even appreciate it by playing
Yeah,
it.
such a mistake.
Such a mistake.
Upping the storm count on turn 1.
Right. You know, actually it would be Storm 3.
Right, on the first turn.
What a flex.
then Elvis Spirit Guide, Simeon Spirit Guide, Chatterstorm, like we saw.
That was
the
actually
flops.
that was fun with the flops. Yeah, here it would have maybe it could have worked with like starting with Dark Ritual and doing stuff like this.
Right.
You could just go for maybe even Tendrils.
Well, against Phlage, the positioning of Light of Total
Yeah.
isn't that viable.
True. Like you need to combo off in one turn.
Yes.
Because it doesn't really help if you just slowly grind their life. Okay, so that is the crack of the bubble.
Yeah, makes sense. Just digging through the deck. Well, I'm really curious to see Dank what he's about to do now because
And there is...
The Sanctifier. No,
it looks
no,
like
sorry.
the Storyteller's Staff.
Yeah, right. I got excited there for a second.
Yeah, it's not the Sanctifier, it's the Storyteller's Staff or something like that. Staff of the Storyteller.
Yeah,
Yeah, the other way around.
getting you a token.
Yeah,
and
you get a
drawing your
token,
card.
you draw cards.
Common
and
deck played in Thalia.
It is played in Thalia. It is played in
Phlage.
Thalia because you just blink it, you get another spirit.
Yeah, and
Right.
white you can draw cards.
Yes, exactly. And you just tap it for a white, draw a card, then you flick it again, and you
Make
go
it into
on. And,
tokens.
yes, exactly.
pretty
It is pretty nice.
nice card.
It is pretty decent, in fact. Ooh, okay. There
Diabolic
is the
intent.
diabolic intent to get a treasure and find a card.
Yeah.
Setting up.
There is also the scry, but that doesn't matter since you are going to shuffle anyway.
True.
But he is that one card more
Yeah,
closer
just
to the
closer
combo.
and closer to just winning.
We might expect something next
Yeah,
turn, probably.
this kind of deck is really brutal. I think it
And-
is much easier if you play against like aggressive decks or like more mid-rangey decks
Right.
than against control decks
Yep.
with this combo. Because if you play against control deck with a combo deck, it is very hard to win.
Absolutely, you are easier to play against
Ooh,
combo deck.
Fourth
If you
L
don't have
Lingus.
interaction.
Absolutely, yes, that is the point. Fourth L Lingus X equals 1, which means the main idea is just to put on pressure.
Right,
And
and
Monarch.
start drawing cards.
Yeah,
to
drawing
the-
cards for Monarch, which I believe that Michael will not lose Monarch
Yeah,
like at
Dank
any
has
point.
No way of pressuring it,
Playing Rograkh,
stealing it, yeah,
giving it some power.
yeah, and like Shadow Spear or something. Not really.
Not really.
That's the way, unless Michael is dead this turn, which is
I-
also a possibility.
It could be, but I don't think there is enough mana. There will still be like a turn or two of setup via Dunk. And
Rograkh is still not played. There could
True.
be extra turn plus Landro plus Culling.
there was one
it can
card.
be done definitely.
There was one card found via the intent.
And if it can be done, and there was a tutor previous turn, and it was a 7 or 6 at least that was kept.
Yeah, seven was kept. I believe like
Right.
90%
Okay.
that 7 was kept.
Believe you, and in that case,
It could be.
I would bet that
Yeah,
this turn
and
might be
it could just be win. Like
this might be the last turn of this match.
might.
Yeah.
I hope not, because I
Well-
would really love for Michael to be able to resolve more than 2 cards. This
Also,
turn.
the fact is that Dank
Two
is
spells,
really
sorry.
thinking now,
Yeah.
which wouldn't be the case if he didn't plan on
Yeah,
playing
absolutely.
something.
Or maybe just like, how do I set up the best way so that I win the next turn?
Yeah, and maybe I'm just stressing out the
Yeah,
opponent.
you know.
Am I dead? Or
It would be
not?
brutal to lose a feature match where you resolve 3 spells
Yeah.
in 2 games.
in 2 games.
Okay, yeah, and then there is the start, Rograkh. Storm
Storm
is 1. My God.
And here we go.
Culling the
There's Culling.
Weak, yeah.
If you're combining through Breach, which I believe this is probably the chance,
Could be.
the thing, you not only need to count your strong count and the mana you have, but also cards in the graveyard.
Yes, absolutely.
That's like another layer. That
Because you need to escape for 3, exile 3 cards to escape the thing you're
and
using.
considering how many cards you already have in the hand,
Okay.
you might
5 mana.
need to tutor for something,
Right.
or ritual or something.
5 mana for Dark Petition.
That's
Okay.
the tutor that gives you.
And
free-
it has spell mastery, right? So
that gives you
it
3 mana.
3 mana and you get
It is a demonic tutor plus dark
plus
tutor
3 mana. Yeah, like
afterwards.
2 things together, more pricey, but
Yeah.
it's another demonic tutor.
For 3 mana worth of cards.
Yeah.
But very powerful cards.
Absolutely.
For
And
5.
it is great because right now there could be potentially the either Yawgmoth's Will, Fount,
Potentially.
or Breach, but Will could work better.
We don't see Dunk's hand, so we can't say for sure.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Dark Ritual
yeah,
being
there is the
played.
Dark Ritual also.
So and there is remember there is still red mana as an option from the treasure.
Right. So plenty of mana. Stone
Yeah.
count is getting high.
It looks like
and
this is gonna be the end.
It was one tutor into a second tutor. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Dunk wouldn't go for this all days.
Right? Why
just
would you?
to
Why
pass the turn? to
right.
the
It would be mental to just do all of this and just say, okay, pass.
getting your opponent heart attack. and
Yeah.
winning.
Although I have done it a couple of times with Ruby Storm when you just break. You know, you
Yeah.
just like you don't because you play like the exile cards from top and just
Right.
okay, yeah, sure.
But that wasn't intentional, I believe,
Right. Well, absolutely not intentional. It's like Storm 8.
yeah.
Okay, I have nothing more. You play. But right now it looks like okay. It's the bargain one.
Yeah. So treasure is not used for
Treasure
mana,
was used
but
for bargain. What is it called? This one. Besiege the Mirror.
Yes.
Right. Yeah, it just came to my mind. Besiege the Mirror, which is a great card because it allows you to find it, and if you bargain for it, you play it.
Okay.
If you
the
find
Besiege
it,
the
you
Mirror-
then bargain for it, and you can just play the card.
Yeah. Besiege the
and-
Mirror usually finds cards like Yamakumo's Will
And I believe
Underworld
that
Breach.
Yawgmoth's Will be the case. Or here is the Cobalt ritual, and then Yawgmoth's Will just from hand.
Or
remember
Pier
that-
if he
yeah.
really needs all this mana.
True, but remember that
I don't know how many
Dunk
left.
already searched for a card with the diabolic intent.
Well, it might be the case of him like chaining the tutor spells.
Chaining tutors?
Yeah, with rituals and to just up your sum count.
True,
to
true.
up the cards in the graveyard, and once your grave is fully filled.
3 mana
and you have-
Yawgmoth's Will?
Like yes, and then Yawgmoth's
Yep.
Will.
Yawg Will.
And here we go.
And that's it. That's gonna be the game.
right.
Let's be honest.
We have like
Because the kill is there actually.
Yep.
You can just
you
use
have
the
tutor
rituals.
spells, you have rituals.
And you can then
Enough
go for the either Rograkh into Diabolic Intent to find the tendrils, or you can go for a Besiege the Mirror to find the tendrils and then play it.
Right, because that is in one card. You don't have anything to bargain with.
True, but,
But
you,
for example,
yeah,
the
Dark
Petition.
Petition, you find it, you put it in your hand, you don't lose that
Yeah.
much mana. It actually just costs 2 mana when you think about it. Because it costs
Exactly.
5, it gives you back 3, so it's basically Dark Ritual. Sorry,
Demonic
Demonic
Tutor.
Tutor. Yeah.
Yeah, that gives you the free mana back.
Yeah. Like it kind of pays back. And when you do it in these chains, it works the same.
So this situation is just cast anything you have in the
Yeah.
graveyard and win from that. And I think only thing to do here is to make sure you don't mess up somehow.
Absolutely, yeah. The only thing that can happen is you messing up. Once again, as I mentioned, the Flare of Fortitude again cannot be used via Michael because
No
there
white-
are no non-token white creatures.
Yes.
Again, only 2 spells resolved this game, which is twice the amount he resolved last game. But still very unfortunate. Both of these games
We might
were
count
won-
the Eagles as well to be really solider.
Okay, 2.5 spell.
Yeah, okay.
2 spells
Okay.
resolved and 1 thing cycled.
Well, I chose the Rograkh+Tevesh to be on a feature match, and I didn't know which deck is it up against, and I didn't
Yeah.
know it would be this one.
Yeah,
sided.
as we were discussing it here before the match started, that Rograkh playing into Phlage is very unfortunate for the Phlage player, and we can see that here it's
You are
just
very
it's just
limited
brutal.
amounts
Like
of
this is too
interaction.
little too dominant as a stand. Yeah, so there is those 2 being played.
Going through the motions, not
Yeah,
mess
just-
anything
yeah,
up,
right.
just double check everything.
Playing it for the camera. Thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, right.
Because like I know that Michael could just scoop.
The
Could-
opponent, anything he can do is just
Yeah, and
Try-
that is ooh,
unmask.
unmask.
It's
Cool.
the
Yeah,
grief
yeah.
without the
Uh,
grief.
yeah, the original grief.
Yes.
Okay, and there is just a couple of good cards. Even Ghost Vacuum could be nice,
Bunch of good cards. Ghost
but
Vacuum.
none of them impactful in this situation.
Well, if the Ghost Vacuum was in the play,
Yeah,
it might do something.
it might have. It might have. Like, getting rid of Culling the Weak or some tutor.
Yeah.
Too little, too late though.
You don't hear the players talking, so
But we can just see they are going through the motion. I can see the storm count is 15 now.
now having the artifacts
16.
for paying the bargain,
Yeah,
and there's
it's just a
vendors and there's a GG.
Alright, that was
Wow.
brutal. Let's
Yeah.
be honest. This was one of the most dominant performances we have seen from a combo deck. We actually saw another combo deck here. That was the Walhar.
Yeah.
But this was much more brutal. Both of these wins basically happened on turn 3.
Yes.
If I'm counting correctly.
Yeah, except the dunk got activating the Wish Claw and gain an extra turn.
True. So one of them
So
was game
technically, yes.
4.
Yeah.
Turn 4.
From
And
the opponent's side, it was
Yeah.
turn 3.
so both of them turn 3. One of them kind of turn 4.
Right, brutal.
Yeah, but it is fun that those decks are real like capable of existing in the meta.
Right.
Yeah, our players are getting the goodies. Now Dunk is getting
booster.
the mystery booster, which he is required by law to crack. We forgot to say it is illegal not to crack the pack.
Yeah,
It's a
not
punishable
on
offense
camera.
here in Prague. Unfortunately.
Yeah, you are asking for game loss.
Yeah, not just the game loss. You'll be excommunicated from the city.
Yeah.
So if you wish to ever return or even live here, right? Some people are local. You do have to crack the pack on camera.
We might get there until the deck is safely in the box.
Yeah, we will.
To not sideboard from the pack, right? Not change on deck list.
Like playing, it would be fun to just allow booster tutor in
yeah.
dual commander. I would love that. I would
Yeah.
love to play booster tutor just to have a bit of fun.
Yeah, like the chaos draft, like improving your deck during the
Yeah,
game.
right. Or just like for a bit of a dopamine rush, you're feeling down. Michael could have been
Path to
cracking.
Exile. Look at that.
Yeah, Michael could have been cracking packs just to have fun during the game.
The zombie walking corpse.
Yeah.
2/2 for 2 mana, nothing else.
You can see a lot of these cards
Branchfoot armor.
aged a bit.
Mortify.
The Trans Dynamo is a nice commander card, like normal commander. And there is the Kamigawa split guy that's not really the greatest. And Living Dead. That is nice. That is fun.
And what else? Some
Is there
foil?
something else? Ooh,
Allosaur
Allosaur Riders actually went up recently because of modern Neoform.
That might be a bit pricey.
It is
right?
pricey nowadays.
That's a good booster,
Yeah,
right?
it is a nice booster because the card, like modern Neoform, really came back because the
Grizzlebrand.
Grizzlebrand, the Neoform Grizzlebrand thing.
Yeah.
But it came back
The free
because
spells?
there are some new fun stuff to do with it.
Yeah.
Especially you are finding, I think it's called Galta, the one that just vomits creatures onto the battlefield.
Yeah.
And there is also the new big dragon from Tarkir Dragonstorm that has protection from black and white.
Oh.
And it's like a 10-10 flying, which
Okay.
means you can't really
Yeah.
remove it. Like nobody can kill it.
Teamer one. Oh,
Yeah, the
I
Teamer
remember.
one.
Okay.
All right, and now we will just get a quick transition and move to an interview that we are going to have here. done. Congratulations. It was great.
Thank
I
you.
really loved the game. Honestly, we were talking here about it. It was brutal. The dominating performance. How do you feel about the game?
I'm glad that I won. I got the good matchup and I won it. So
Right. You mentioned good matchup. We were talking about it. Can Phlage really do something to stop you?
there's some like main board.
Yeah, some cards, right?
Graveyard hate, and that's
True.
about it. I think.
Like playing Sanctifier and Vec, or
Yes.
maybe Dreaded Magistrate or something
Yes,
like this.
also.
But that's it. Yeah.
If,
Right.
if they play it even.
True. If they even, yeah, that's right. Some players might not even play it in the deck. We actually were counting the amount of spells that happened from the side of Michael. It was a little brutal because during the first game he resolved one spell. That was the Tarfire, and during the second game it was just 2 spells.
Yes.
Because you won both games technically on turn 3. In the first one, it was turn 4 via the extra turn. I actually admire the way you played it. It was great. Because you waited for the activation of the Urza Saga, and then you went for the Wish Claw into Final Fortune?
Yes.
Or did you have the Final Fortune in hand?
I didn't have it. I didn't like. I knew that if I like the next turn,
Yeah.
the saga would search and
Yeah.
I probably could still win through that, but this was like guaranteed.
Right, absolutely. And if you can win on the spot, why wait?
Yes.
Right? Why should you wait? That was fantastic. I really loved it. Tell me, how are you faring with the deck so far? Was there any very tough, bad matchup that you experienced today?
No, luckily I didn't have any bad matchups.
Mhm.
I just was unlucky in round 1,
Okay.
and after that it was almost all like good matchups.
All right, that's fantastic. And in the first round, you mentioned that like you were a little unlucky. Was it the problem of the deck just not doing what it's supposed to do, or was it just your opponents
Yes,
on a strong deck?
my deck didn't do what it was supposed to do because
Right.
I played against Control Atraxa, and that should be a favorable matchup.
Okay.
So just I got unlucky a little bit.
Right, right. And we were talking about the fact that there are probably some bad matchups for the combo deck. What are those? Because if it's an aggro, you can just like, okay, try to kill me, but I will win faster probably. So what is a bad matchup for you?
Bad matchups are like also combo decks, but with blue cards.
True, true. And that's what we wanted to ask about, because your choice is Ragda, so going straight for the combo. There is also the Rograkh playing basically in Grixis colors,
Yes.
right? So can you tell me why did you choose to go for this build?
Because this deck has in the control matchup
Mhm.
you have the Planeswalker, the
Right,
Tevesh,
right.
and you always threaten them with that, and you bait out counter spells
Mhm.
instead of having your counter spells and protecting your combo with
Right, right. So it's more like all in on the combo and just, trying to squeak around their interaction. It does make sense. Like in this particular case, we just saw a dominant performance, just like, okay, sure, I win. You can have fun and count the storm at least. that's what you can do about it. But yeah, I do understand this choice. Now, if we are counting correctly, it basically means you should have the top 16 guaranteed, right? What are you thinking about it when you came to the match?
I was really glad that I got that matchup.
Right.
It was the highest chance I could get, and I'm good. I'm glad that I won.
Right.
I drew very well.
Right. Yeah,
My
that
opponent
is
didn't have a chance.
that is true. That is true. Okay,
One
that's a nice thing to say. My opponent had no chance. By the way, we saw in other Najáda League tournaments that you actually played Phlage, right?
Yes, I did.
And what made you switch sides, sort of to speak? Because you actually switched teams from Phlage to playing this.
Yes, Phlage was like a very fair deck, and I was kind of afraid that I would lose to this deck.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't know how popular it would be,
Right.
and I didn't want to face like other slow decks that are going over the top. So something
Right,
like
right.
Azusa or something. Phlage has really bad matchup.
True. So if you play against some basically half the decks here are kind of unfair in a way. So if you were to be playing against something like this, Phlage did not really have good matchup against it.
Yes, and this deck is very strong right now.
Right. It is nice to see that with the way that meta changed in a way, with a lot of the bans and like kind of slow down of the meta sort of in a way, we can see that combo decks are really on the rise. Now there is a new card that really switched the meta around a little bit. And my question, we usually ask it here: have you met the card? Have you met the trading cards today? And have you played against Deadpool?
Yes, I have.
Okay, and how did you manage? You won probably.
I won because that is a good matchup for me.
Okay.
And Deadpool is like, I like people playing Deadpool because they beat up on the decks that beat me.
True.
And I beat them, so
True.
I
So
want
they
Deadpool's to win. I want Deadpool's to win.
right. So Deadpool's bully like the sort of control decks or things that really bully you out, and then you go against them and just like. Like, I don't care you steal abilities, I have no creatures that matter. If I understand it correctly, the only creature is the commander?
No,
Probably?
I have a few creatures.
There are some creatures, right, but like they are not core to the combo plan, they're just there to deal with.
Yeah, they're just assist.
Right, understandable. Okay, now we will probably wish you good luck in the next round, but I don't know if you will even have to play it. You will have to do the calculations on your own, and then best of luck in top 16.
Thank you.
And I hope I will see you here, maybe not necessarily for the interview, but at least in a feature match, and hopefully to show us another great performance like this. Donk, congratulations, it was fantastic. And we will take a short break, either like 5-10 minutes, and we will see you afterwards for more riveting gameplay, for more magic, and actually we will try to find a match that will be played, because you know how it goes in the last rounds. We will see you in a couple of minutes. Bye for now.